So I just got off a call with two of the devs from Pax Dei, Peter or Petur, sorry mate, and Reynir. Both of them are really, really nice guys. Super humbling to talk to them. They've got a real big project on their hands, and I'm super, super excited for them. Today was a bit of a discussion around their vision for their game, as well as maybe trying to pull out some leaks and get some information for you guys. As of recording, their early access launch is tomorrow. Good luck in the early access launch. I wish them all the best, and you guys who are playing, have an awesome time. Enjoy the video. I had an absolute blast doing it. The quality's not great. If you guys know now, we're in a van. We're living in a van, so the quality isn't up to scratch. But if you've got anything you want to say, drop it in the comments below. I'll take a look at them all. And obviously, if you enjoy this, leave a like, leave a sub, because that allows me to get these opportunities in the future. Okay, chat. You should be able to hear us now. Hello, hello, hello. Fingers crossed is working. Let us know. Sound is good. We are here today with Peter and Reynir. Most of you guys may have saw them last time, and you know them from developing Pax Dei, and I am mega excited to have you guys with me. So thank you again for joining me today. Do you want to, Peter? Maybe you could start. Just let us know what you do at Mainframe, what you do with Pax Dei, and yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hi. Yeah, Petur. I'm the design director on Pax Dei, so I kind of oversee, all of the elements of kind of the game design for Pax Dei and kind of helping to bring it alive.
Hey, nice. Reynir?
Yeah, I'm Reynir. I'm game director for Pax Dei, which means that I have I'm everywhere and nowhere in the project, and so it's kind of a dream project. So it's a lot of fun to make, and so yeah, and here we are. Thanks for hosting us, Danneh.
Yeah.
No, it's a pleasure, and I've obviously been very excited about Pax Dei for a long time, and mainly because we got quite a big PvP community, and when we heard about the plans going forward, like, okay, this is right up our street. So we're obviously very eager to see that come to life. But it's been very fun so far and very exciting, and the amount of people that have sort of got behind you already, when the game has still got quite a bit to, you're still working on a lot of things, is awesome to see. So been very exciting. Can I ask you how long you guys been working on Pax Dei?
The company's founded, what was it? It was 19.
I believe so,
Yeah, kind of.
Something like
It's
that.
founded in fall of 2019. It's all getting blurry. So yeah, it's been that's almost 5 years, something like that. I would say.
Love it.
We founded it from scratch. So we're building the team and making the earliest prototype. So proper game development has not been full 5 years. A lot of prototyping early on, and then of course building the team, which is also a major task and interesting. So yeah, it's hard to say, but yes, company founded
roughly 5 years ago. I don't have as experience, but I've run a couple of companies and stuff, and I think the biggest thing is finding the right people to do the right jobs and people that you get on with, right? And the one thing that hit me very hard is your first video that you posted, and you sounded like you really gave a shit about the game and the project, and I was like, okay, this is very meaningful, and that goes a long way. So that was super cool. I can see a few people in chat saying there's a little bit of delay here or there. So for you guys who are not aware, for whatever reason this life chose me, I'm now streaming in a van, so the internet may come and go a little bit. Yeah, so hopefully we're good. But if there's any problems, just give me a shout. But just give it like 30 seconds, and we should be back. What I'm super interested in as well with the development side is, can you share maybe something not negative, but something that you found quite difficult developing off from the start Pax Dei? What you found quite difficult, but then also what has been like a super good highlight. I mean, tomorrow is going to be a mega highlight, of course, but along the development process, what's been difficult, and what's been a good highlight for you?
I think the whole I think the whole project is very difficult. Like it's just because of how ambitious it is. Like,
yeah,
it's such an ambitious project, but that's also what makes it like worth it to work on and like try to build with a team. And reasons why I say it's difficult is just like it's a very complex like technologically to pull it off, like with the whole kind of the kind of free building in the world and like all of the kind of both the technical and kind of design problems that come with that. And also it's also just been difficult to kind of during the whole time when we didn't have like players playing the game, like trusting our assumptions, taking leaps of faith about like how it would actually develop when people actually come into the game, and just like building up to that point was just like emotionally hard sometimes because like the game didn't really come alive until the first alpha and the alpha 2. So kind of and also I guess what's also been difficult is like but fun is how we're trying to kind of reimagine some of the things that we really loved about like kind of some of the older MMOs where the MMOs kind of genre started, kind of reimagining it with kind of newer games and kind of combining those things together in a way that we feel is like a meaningful and kind of like is kind of integral to the part of the vision of our game. So there's a lot of things that we have been doing and are doing that we don't think we don't have like a clear like comp to, like we just have to like there are some things about the game that we feel are really important, but we can't actually go and play it in any other game. We can't actually go and test it. So
you got to build it.
Yeah, we just got to build it, and then and it's been really lovely to see like a lot of those things that we've done. I think I mean, like I've talked about before, I think like a lot of the things that we were like really passionate about actually, people actually loved as well, like that have been playing so far. So that's been
it's good to hear. Absolutely good to hear. Reynir, was there something that's like really shone for you?
Yeah, it's like I think we're doing something that we kind of have a shared vision for this thing. We're not the only ones who want this. We sense this a lot with people we're talking to. A lot of people who want this game, and a lot of people have been dreaming about this type of game for a long time. It was something that I felt very strongly also when I was doing EVE Online. It just that game just had to be made. It's kind of a deja vu moment now again with this, and I'm also kind of stunned that this game hasn't been made yet because we've been thinking about this game for 20 years. I mean, there have been, of course, other games, doing similar things, and especially on the sandbox, Sean, especially lately, which I find very encouraging. But what's also common with most of these games, that these are all made by indie studios like us, and it seems to be a pattern that it's very hard to sell the idea of making, a sandbox style MMO with a traditional publisher. I think they're more risk averse, so this game would not have happened unless we're an independent studio. I think that's like 100% certainty. One of the reasons is that you cannot really prove it until you have the players. So imagine you have funding gates, like you have at traditional publishers. You have to demo the game at certain deadlines. We did this with EVE Online back in the day, and the demo was like the worst demo you would ever see because there's nothing in the game. It's just you and an asteroid, and of course, we're not. It's easier to demo Pax Dei, but at the same time, the game has not yet, taken on the life of its own. It is starting. We're starting to see the seedlings of it in Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. It's very encouraging, but it's going to be extremely exciting to see how it, what's going to happen now once the foundation is built and start breathing life into this.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. Once the foundation's built, because I think I can speak for a lot of us that we feel that it's basically there, right? We're all playing and we're like, okay, this has got the foundations to be the MMO that we all want to play. So just building on that now, everyone's like, okay, all day today, when can I play? When can I play? Can I play now? And all last week, Dan, when's it launch? I'm like, oh my god, people are just super hyped, and it's really lovely to see it take shape. It's funny you talk about Eve. One question I did have was a little bit more about you guys, then we'll get into some Pax Day stuff. When you're not developing at this point, which I'm probably all the time considering we're launching tomorrow into early access, what other games do you play or have you played in the past? What's been your favorite games?
Yeah, mostly been playing. So yeah, I have to admit, I've mostly been playing card games. So I play
cool.
a game called Cards with a K. It's a Second World War game, which actually one of my best friends is making.
I love it.
Yeah, so I only play games by friends. No. Yeah, but I definitely recommend it if you're into card games. Cards with a K. So
Cards with a K. Go check it out.
Yeah, this question is really big. Like, yeah, all the way from like I'm an old school kind of tabletop RPG player, so played a lot of tabletop RPGs, and then into Magic the Gathering. But then of course like more like most every MMO that's come out since I kind of missed Ultima Online and I only played it for a little bit, but starting with EverQuest and World of Warcraft and Lord of the Rings and Elder Scrolls and yeah.
Were you a Guild Wars enjoyer?
Most lately.
Yeah, I thought it was last week or something. You know,
no, yeah.
I played Ultima to pieces. You know, I played it too much. Almost lost my wife for it. So,
yeah, I mean, spent most of my life playing MMOs. Last decade or so, it's been kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I love it. It's so funny because the guy who built my van, he I didn't know anything, and he was like, "Oh, I played Lineage 2," and he said it basically took over his life. All he did was play MMOs. It was just it's so funny because this guy's like a craftsman now, and it was funny to hear that he played this massive MMO. I was like, I'm building this van to go and play MMOs on the road. He's like, you're a madman. But it's really, really funny to see people's like history of MMOs, and everyone's like delved into them at some point, isn't they? No, thanks for asking. No, it's nice for me to kind of get to know a bit and chat to kind of know who's developing the game that they are so eager to play. So a couple of questions about Pax Day, that's all right. The first question is, can player plots decay during early access?
Not right now, but we're still figuring out. Like we know that like we're gonna need to like somehow identify when players have like completely lapsed. They're never coming back. Like they're not coming back for like months after they place the plot. So we are still figuring out exactly what parameters we need to use basically to kind of free up the space that they've kind of claimed. So we'll talk more about that when we get there. But yeah.
Cool.
And that's mainly just to kind of serve the people who are actually playing the game. If we have somebody join and like claim a couple of never return, like that's just like disservice to everyone who is actually playing.
I think everyone has that fear, don't they, that you're in an area where you're building a lovely settlement and you just have littered half-built buildings all around you. And I think part of that question really led to we're running an ad, but we'll keep going. They can watch it on YouTube. But one of the big questions really around that was the subscription model. We know that there's potentially a sub model at the end of early access, which may be tied to the plots. Will the users or the players be required to pay a subscription during early access, or is that something that would come on release?
Not during early access. So no, only after full release, which is going to be at least 12 months after tomorrow, possibly longer. So during that time, like no, there's no subscription.
So we got a good bit of time to get to experience the development before people need to start thinking about sub. Cool. That's just that was one of the sort of top questions, because people were sort of wondering, because during early access obviously they want to jump in, see where you guys are at, maybe go away for a few months, and then come back, and they don't have to worry about payment sort of.
Yeah, the biggest problem we have with that pattern is, of course, if you go and build a half, asked plot, you kind of, isolate for your neighbors, and yeah, we're watching it closely and seeing, how big the problem is going to be. Maybe it's going to be super urgent, and then we have to address it like right away. We have no idea. So, but there will be a decay mechanic during early access. But like Peter's saying, we haven't exactly decided on how and when it will happen.
I mean,
yeah.
There is like building decay outside of plots already. So like if you claim something and you build something and then you remove the plot or you move it somewhere else, the buildings there do decay fairly quickly.
And players can also help with that decay process.
Yes. I mean, and that's also a kind of feature that we'll work with the community to figure out what are the best parameters, because we don't want it to happen on accident by someone who is who is actually playing.
Yeah. Also, if you need to take a vacation or you're sick or something, and you leave your plot, and there's a lot of stuff to it. But it's great to get people's view on it, because there's no perfect solution to this. But it's great to get some ideas.
Yeah, we did a few polls today, and I think every single time, whether it be answer A or answer B, it was split straight down the middle. So I don't envy you of this situation, because everybody's got it's basically the same either side of the camp. Today you guys dropped your part 2 update, and one of the things that I picked up on, you mentioned about the combat skill ceiling, that you want the combat skill ceiling to be relatively high. For me, and I think for a lot of people, that's really awesome to hear. Can you share your vision on how you may, at some point, bring this to life, where there is this skill ceiling essentially to the combat? Not necessarily just PvP, but combat in Pax Dei as a whole.
Yeah. Like when it comes to the gameplay and kind of, very like player-facing stuff that we're going to be introduced into the game, the kind of the two biggest focus areas is like, one is on the civilization track and the other is on adventure. And so like since Alpha 2, we have been like working hard on like removing some of the jankiness that we had just in the core mechanics, and we're going to continue doing that. We actually have a very good plan to kind of address most of the kind of obvious like issues with the combat mechanics, and a lot of those will have already and will kind of like give you a lot more control over your character and like how you kind of deal with different combat situations. So even without additional content, it will like that will raise the skill ceiling quite a bit. But like most of the rest of it is going to come with additional content, so like new spells and new kind of special abilities that you can perform. And kind of the goal here is that we let each player, as they develop the character and develop kind of what kind of like kit they want to like equip, like what kind of equipment and spells they want to have in their combat kit, or like their spells essentially. That kind of determines how high of a skill ceiling they are comfortable with taking on. So like if you are with like new, so like right now, like the fire, like most of the spells in the game are fairly easy. Like the mechanics are fairly simple. They're like the firebolt is like a sticky targeting homing missile, whereas the bow is like, it has like a lot of skill to it to actually aim it. So we'd have, for instance, like a lot more spells that are like our skill shots, where you have to like kind of predict enemy movement. You kind of have to aim them, and on the and conversely, like they could also have like a higher damage or higher power, basically, because they are kind of skilled. There's also not a lot of like like there's no inherent dodge roll in the game. We may or may not introduce it, but at the very least we would introduce more kind of defensive maneuvers that would be tied into some of those skills. So like having special attacks or combat maneuvers or spells that like allow you to like move quicker on the battlefield, kind of disengage or dodge skill shots and arrows and stuff like that.
Nice. I think it's the biggest thing that we've always discussed is there's a lot of systems and there's a lot of ways you can do things, but it's that feeling. It's that feeling and the way you feel when you're, let's call it PvEing versus PvPing in a game can feel very different. So whatever you apply that works well in PvE sometimes doesn't work well in PvP. And to give you an example from my perspective is at the moment when you use when you swing a weapon, you're kind of locked in place. In PvE for me, and that feels okay. But when you're in PvP and you got some madman shouting you over VoIP coming at you, he's gonna kill you. You want to be able to kind of have a little bit more movement to work with your dodges. So that's like one instance of there's so many ways that you could do things, right? It's really difficult.
That's actually kind of a topic of like a few different kind of tasks that we're working on right now, is to allow you to kind of break out of those animations much easier. Like basically allow you to break out of those animations. So allowing you to kind of interrupt any of your like, especially being able to break out of any of the basic attacks and actually special attacks and spells as well by like blocking, allowing you to break out of like spell animations just by moving. So if you start casting a spell and you suddenly need to like reposition, you could do that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's where the skill ceiling comes into play, right? You get to know the systems a bit more, and I think there's that overarching statement where the combat in most games need to be easy to play, but quite difficult to master, right? So you can everybody can play it quite happily, have fun, go PvE, go world boss, whatever they do, but then when you get into the depths of a large scale battle, you got some players that are shining through because they know your systems inside out, and you're like, avoid that guy, he's gonna kick my butt,
Yeah, I mean, we want of course there's going to be a completely different meta in PvP and PvE, I'm sure, but we still want those combat experiences to be consistent. Like we don't want to enforce you to like re-equip everything if you're going to PvP, even if there's that different meta. And as much as possible, like we would like to like keep like spells that work in both situations. Of course, kind of long duration hard CC is not going to be. It's just always going to be overpowered in PvP. But yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I don't want to make this all about combat. This is like one of the things that I know that my personal community is like really keen to see thrive within PAX. Is there, I don't know if you can answer this, but is there any game that you've played that you take a little bit of inspiration from when it comes to combat?
I'm actually wary of naming a game when it comes to combat, just because there isn't a single game where we just want to comp everything. There are like bits and pieces,
just pulling from different games. Yeah.
And I'm fine like naming a few games just because like but if I did, then somebody might get upset that if like they might misunderstand. Like no, it's not this part. It's like
no, absolutely. Okay, no, that's really good to hear. So moving on slightly from the combat. So at the moment we can get into the building and the crafting, and one of the massive parts of the game is the crafting systems, and it is very in depth already. One of the big questions from a lot of us at the moment is when you are. I mean, I typically farm trees and give the wood to someone else, but when someone's crafting weapons and armor to level up their character, typically, let's say for argument's sake, I'm crafting spears. I'll craft 100 spears, and those spears will end up on the floor. Are you thinking about potentially like a recycling / salvage system where we can reuse those materials?
Yes, absolutely. That we just haven't made it yet, but it is on our plan for the homestead. Essentially, being able to. So similarly, how when you craft something, you might get some salvage, you might get some materials back if you fail or succeed. We want to do that basically for any craftable, basically, that you can kind of you can recycle it and get a little bit some materials back, and sometimes if you're really lucky, you might get some of the more expensive ones back.
Oh,
And it's
cool.
both to it's kind of to make it feel less bad when you have like been crafting a lot of stuff to kind of skill up. And also just like we have a lot of like we want to do like a lot of kind of quality of life improvement when it comes to like inventory management. But one and of course one of those things is like sometimes you just end up with a lot of things that you just don't want to have to deal with, like organizing or giving away or whatever, and you might just want to recycle it and like make your life a little easier.
Amazing.
So yeah, we definitely want that.
That seems very.
One thing to add,
Sorry.
Peter, as you talk about inventory management, we're launching with slightly larger inventory. You have one more row of inventory.
Ooh, there we go. That's cool. That's very welcomed. I can see everybody cheering on the inventory and the and the salvage. That's awesome. Look at it. I love it. Brilliant. This is what, for me, like doing something like this is absolutely amazing, because you say something like that and you see them going wild. See chat go, oh, it's just fucking brilliant. It's really brilliant. It's very very, very fun. So there's loads more questions that I have for crafting, but we won't dive too deep into the crafting side today, because I think that's something that you guys are, from what I've read today, it's going to be an ongoing process, and we won't pick out specifics. That was just something that I think on Alpha 1, Alpha 2 that we've all kind of felt the burden of. I just saw floors littered with weapons, and everyone's like, "What do we do with them?" But yeah, no, it's that's really cool. A question about animal husbandry. Are you gonna? Is that something coming into the game? If it is, can you share any information about how you envision that coming to life within Pax Dei?
So yes, we do envision it. It's not on the immediate road ahead that we shared, just because we're not quite there yet. There are more important things that we want to get to. Yep. But like when you were also just asking about kind of highlights from like developing the game, one thing that I was thinking of that relates to this is like in every iteration, like they're just, as a developer, you have to also just like play the game and like let the game kind of speak to you. And like one of the things that the game just, even though we always planned it, like it's immediately when you start playing the game, you're like, there are just some things that the game is kind of asking you for, and that is one of those games. Yeah. One of those things where like, of course, I want to have my chicken coop and like my pigs. I want to raise some pigs, and I want to like breed horses, and so it is one of those things that is like, the game is always going to be kind of really calling for, and we plan to do it. But it's not the immediate thing with that. So, and yeah, and like how we'll do it, we don't have like detailed plans to share on it, but like at least one kind of one kind of high level goal here is that like if I'm growing crops, or if I'm building a house or blacksmith or whatever, like when I am offline, people can see it and experience it and come visit it. Like one of the trickier things here is probably going to be like make this kind of to follow that same route. So like if I am raising chickens, people should be able to like see my chickens when I go offline. So like we have to figure out kind of the economy around doing animal husbandry, but also keeping the world alive when you're offline. So these are not like magical mounts that kind of like disappear when you log off, but actual like entities in the game.
Oh, that's awesome. I think for me personally, that's exactly what you want to see. I guess you have that trouble that you kind of have that realism factor to Pax Dei, right? And everything that you have seen and experienced in real life, you're like, oh, okay, mounts, horse riding, medieval combat here, or castles here, everything that people have seen in movies and have kind of, this fantasy to play in a game. You guys, you need to build this for us. That's the challenge you have. It's not easy. Talking about sort of entities staying within the world. Obviously, markets are quite high up on the list, and that's one of the first things you guys are dropping in. And we know that people will be able to trade with your market while you're not there. For example, one question that I had was, at the moment we've got the four different maps, for example, and a lot of the resources within these maps are relatively the same. if I'm on map 1 and you're on map 3, what would be the point in us trading with one another? How do you see the trading work? Is it large scale trading between other, or maybe smaller clans trading with larger clans? How do you see the sort of markets coming to life within Pax?
We have a lot of we envision a lot of different markets to
Yeah.
actually emerge.
Mhm.
Surely there will be very big markets. There will hopefully be more than one, but as time goes on, there will be some very big and or focused markets will emerge. We Yeah.
I guess it's quite
We're
difficult, sorry, because this is all player driven, right? A lot
Exactly.
of what we're going to see is
Yeah.
you're offering the tools.
Yeah,
and
this
we're
is
gonna
your
see...
market. This is not our
Yeah.
market. We're just
Yeah.
we're just giving you the simplest tools for you to create your market.
Yep.
And we don't want to design all of the friction away. We want and when I say friction, I just mean interesting problems for you to solve. So we want to just give you tools so that you can actually set up a market with yourself or with your clan or in your village, and that market is going to operate quite locally. So people need to come visit the market to buy things and sell things. But yeah, I mean, I would envision that this will give people some players reasons to kind of game the market as well, kind of travel the world and sell and make money just like trading. So if I three of us might have our hunting lodge somewhere in the mountain where we hunt, and we also collect steel, iron, and we smelt it, and then somebody comes here to buy potions to a nearby dungeon, or they might come and buy everything from us and sell it at a bigger market. It'll be a lot of we just have to kind of finish.
Yeah, but speaking to what you're kind of fishing for, Danneh, is you kind of want to see a market asymmetry and trading between the difference. In the beginning, we're not going to have a lot of that, because most of the stuff we have in the world is very crucial for just building houses and homesteads and stuff like this. But this is something we definitely envision moving forward. We want to have the architecture reflect the different regions, and and having more bias, but it's not going to happen right away. Even that being said, it's still going to be very interesting market activity with the market hubs opening. You might even see a market activity between the zones, just because some of the markets are much better to operate. As you would see, you saw this in EVE Online quite a bit with emergent marketplaces, which are causing us massive headaches because everybody would fly there. That was because it was the kind of the grand bazaars, and we're hoping to see this emerge. But there's not a lot of asymmetry in the market, in the resources as of yet. There's some asymmetry within the regions, but not between them as is.
Okay.
No, there's not as much as we'd like. But then also the 4 regions in the game, the 4 heartland regions in the game right now, or provinces, are all part of the kind of the Gallia theme. When we start introducing more themes and an order, there will be much more
that's the reason to travel, right, and reason to trade. Yeah, it's really cool. I think already we'll see it happening, because the amount of time it takes to level some professions. The larger clans might be able to feed some players, which can then sell those resources to people nearby, which is what you talked about already. And then there'll be other players that may spend a lot more time, like say, hunting, and we're a larger clan and we can't be bothered to hunt anymore, so they'll bring all the stuff that we need, or we'll trade for that. So I can see it working already. It's just nice to see your vision, and sort of they're talking about, let's call it a different biome in my layman's terms,
right,
with resources being able to be traded between those. Is really cool. That leads on to 1,000 other questions. I'll try and narrow it down. The main one for me really is I absolutely loved Red Dead Redemption when that came out, and what a game. I mean, but what really shone for me was how their mounts worked with their carts, so like a horse and cart system. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I think, talking about markets, talking about trading, if you're going from point A to point B at the moment, you can go there, fill your inventory, and then run back. And a lot of people are like, oh man, that's a long journey for an inventory. Do you have any plans for something like a a horse and cart or a bigger inventory. So if I do travel 2 hours because your map is amazingly big, how we could take more resources, or if we're doing a mining trip or something like this, is there any plans for something like that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
We'll leave it there.
yeah, like pre-alpha 1, we had prototypes for that, and it's always been part of kind of the vision of the game. And
Cool.
I mean that's how, it's one of the reasons why you have, like, yeah, I mean we have roads that kind of cross that are pre-built in the game already, and that are kind of that's what they're kind of thought for.
Cool. I can see people in
we
chat
haven't-
already asking for wheelbarrows and hand carts. People have this vision of like traveling back in time, and role playing as a farmer or a
We haven't started building the carts yet, but they are on our extended roadmap, and yeah, very much
Amazing.
needed.
That's cool. I think that's something that like ticks a lot of boxes if you have that sort of system in place, whether it's for PvP, you're risking yourself in PvP and you take a bigger set of resources. You have this, essentially you're given the players the tools to create what a theme park MMO would call like a caravan mission or whatever it may be. People are doing that themselves, and then you can set up ambushes, and then for the PvE there's so much for that one, I guess, function can drive a lot of fun in PvE and PvP. So that's cool. That's coming, guys. That's exciting. I never knew I'd get so excited about a bloody horse and cart, but I know what content it can create. So I sound kind of crazy here, but no, that's really cool to know. My last kind of question that I had down before maybe we see if we get anything from chat. Was, as a pirate / Viking enjoyer, I love the show The Vikings. I want to role play as Ragnar and all of his guys. Is there any chance that we might see some sort of small boats that can go up and down the rivers? This again is obviously asking more than I should, but if you want to share something, that'd be really cool, because you have a lot of waterways. Maybe it won't be a quicker route, but I can imagine people just sitting in your game, just chilling down a river. Is that something that may happen?
You specifically only want small boats? Why do you say?
Well,
small?
I would like the Black Pearl or a massive pirate ship with cannons, but I think for theming wise, like a Viking ship or a small. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Something like that would fit so well within the world.
I mean, it was a reoccurring theme, and in all of our alphas, everybody's building a pier, and like boats were being built. Like everybody was building a boat. So there's obviously a need for it. I mean, people want this. We want this, but it's not on our short-term plans. This is, but it's something we obviously want. Even if it's just for like simple logistics, it just feels so nice. Or if you can go on a boat and do some fishing, or it's just it's amazing. But we just have so much on our plate.
There's so much to do. Add into your list.
There's at least no accident that we have these large bodies of water, and we have these rivers that actually interconnect different provinces, because we it is something that we want. But yeah. Don't know exactly.
It's really nice. Like I think I and lots of people. I'm trying to see what people are saying in chat as well. But I think a lot of us get the feeling that you guys have played games before, right? And that's kind of why I'm asking at the start. What are you? You know what you want.
My absolute favorite moment in Valheim was like after we had been playing for a long time, and we actually made like a massive boat, and we started sailing across the world, and I was just like, yeah, this is. And we're of course working on Pax Dei at the time, and I'm like, yeah, this. People are going to be screaming for this. This is amazing. So it would be absolutely lovely.
Oh, amazing. So, I mean, let's maybe chill for a few minutes, but that's all the questions I had. If there's anything that you guys wanted to add on top of that before we go wild, and maybe try and find some questions from chat. But yeah, if there's anything you want to add, well, maybe guys in chat, if you've got any questions, fire them now, and we can try and ask the guys some. Yeah, is there anything you want to add?
Off the top of my head, not really. I am watching chat as well, and like, of course, after talking about ships and boats, people are also talking about fishing, which is not a surprise at all. Like, that's also something we love to get to.
There's a lot of questions about tomorrow. So guys, just go and check the Discord. All the timings and everything's on the Discord about launch tomorrow. So just jump onto the Discord for that sort of stuff. Any more weapon? I mean, we're only still getting used to them. But do you have any maybe one or two leaks, let's call it, of weapons that you want to add? Is there any more weapons that you're thinking about adding at this point, or is what we're getting at the moment? You can tell me no. This is like completely off off script, random questions.
Not this week or next week, but it will like new weapons and like spells and kind of gear to kind of that opens up like new ways to kind of new ways to kind of fit your character and like build your own kind of class, and like it's gonna be there for our first kind of like larger expansion.
Yeah,
we'll talk more about that when we have
coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming soon. There's a great question here. I don't know if it's possible. My development knowledge is obviously bad. I can only just about get a stream running. But someone's horse has asked here: is there any visions for perhaps building inside the landscape that you've got? So I guess essentially it would be terraforming. I don't know if is that something that's possible within Pax Dei? Building inside the question was any visions for maybe building inside a mountain or creating a mine/cave type of building?
Right. So building building a cave is extremely difficult from a technology standpoint, unfortunately, because the map of the world is two-dimensional top-down projection. So everything that goes inside something else, it's very difficult. That being said, we don't have plans for terraforming, but we know that Epic is working on major reworks for the landscape systems, which will allow for modifications of terrain. So we'll look at it once that drops, but that's not going to drop until 5.5. So we're talking about, maybe we'll do some serious terraforming over a year from now. That's when we start looking at it. So don't get your hopes up high. What we will be doing is more looking into stuff like ability to build roads and being able to suppress grass and having like crops that hug the landscape and replace the grass and stuff like this. So we can have like feats of wield or vines and stuff like this over a rather large territory. And we kind of made the decision that we did not want to go the terraforming route, but rather focus on the social sandbox and the more stuff like this, because it's not Minecraft. We have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah. I'd say for me, you just open up a whole can of worms. The landscape at the moment is amazing. If people can start building through them or into them, it's
crazy. But maybe look at some Valheim style stuff where you can slightly adjust it. But it's like I said, this is not even on our long-term to-do list at the moment. So.
Fun question. Do either of you have maxed out skills or crafting yet?
Not in the preview week, but in a previous test.
Without cheating?
Without cheating, yes.
Oh, let's go.
But not so much as some of our other colleagues, but yeah.
There's a question here about crafting. Do you have any? Will we be able to? We'll be able to pull resources from chests. So when you're standing at the crafting station, instead of having it so storage crafting rather than inventory crafting, right. I guess.
Yeah, that's a very popular request, and we're kind of we'll be considering it. I don't want to say yes or no right now, but we've noticed the request for it, and we'll consider it when it comes to kind of other kind of quality of life improvements we want to do for crafting. Whatever we do, I would like the game to reward for people for like organizing their storage and kind of organizing their house really well. Yep. So they know where to find things and know where to put things. And if we can do that and at the same time offer some quality of life similar to this, that would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, with the inventory expansion we did now, it is actually quite a substantial increase in inventory space. I think that would alleviate a lot of the crafting woes, because currently we have so many ingredients that you have to
Yeah.
for so much recipes. I think that's
That-
one of the main reasons why people are asking for this specific feature.
That was also one of the ones that was straight bang down the middle, where we had like 100 people saying I love it as it is, whereas 100 people, maybe a bit like myself, a bit more casual, were like, actually maybe pulling from the chest would be nice. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. You know, people suggested pulling from a you know, a small radius, or there's a box attached to the craft. This sort of thing, like you say, it's a big discussion, and I'm glad you guys are up for discussing that one.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of other kind of quality of life that we want to do, like allow you to kind of track, you know, some recipes, like if you like similar to like Satisfactory or like a quest tracker in a different MMO, where like, oh, I want to make 15 of these, like I want to make 15 chest pieces, and be able to like track that recipe and all the ingredients for it. So like when you're going to different crafters or to going somewhere else to build something, you can actually track your progress for it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like remember everything, every single detail.
Amazing. We'll grab a couple more if you guys are all right with that. One of them's about the permission system. How do you? I mean, we talked briefly about this last time actually. How do you handle players leaving a clan or being kicked for, I don't know, code of conduct here, or you know, not playing nice with their clan, and now you have a big red plot in the middle of your settlement? Is there any plans to address that initially, or is that a work in progress?
When it comes to that specific case, we're not doing anything initially. Like we do want to, like in the future, we do want to get to a place where, like, if we have a clan of like 20 people who are like all playing really well, like playing together and have trust. If somebody lapses from the game and didn't prepare anything and like hand over their plot, like hand them over to else, we do want to make it as easy as possible for people in that clan to kind of take over that plot without anybody else to come in and like steal it. Like so we have like a clan or like a close friend, kind of, you know, their friends have like a first dibs on doing that. We're not there yet, but that's basically where we want to go.
Nice.
But yeah,
I don't want to speak out of turn here, but
yeah,
I was gonna say, from my point of view, it's also a little bit. We're going through this now, right? We're keen to play the game. We've got a nice, you know, small community, and we have to put in a system that will hopefully avoid these things happening. This is the whole sandbox side of it, right? Like if someone is, you know, not suitable, let's put it that way, and you have to get rid of them, it's a very difficult position you're in, and you're going to have to at this point deal with it. And I think what you're doing with the permission systems, and potentially, I don't know what the plan is, but maybe allowing people to build certain things or do certain things with the permission system, that then allows the players to open up this sandbox. And it's a very interesting way, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it all unfolds with all the different players and communities.
It is a tough nut to crack, and there will be a lot of problems to deal with, and there's no perfect solution to this. But in this specific case, you can just wall him in.
Put him in a prison.
That's actually, you know, one of the cases we need to deal with. But you know, you currently can actually do that. So, you know, and he can't access is great. But anyway, we're going to see a lot of problems arise, especially with, you know, more serious play in early access, you know. So, and
moreover, on the permission system though, like we are working on like adding like a bit more granularity to it. Like we want to get to a place where you as a player was like you develop, like you have a relationship with people in your clan, you have like relationship with like other blacksmiths in the village, and then you have like some old kind of core crew of friends that you play with, and then you're like the soldier of some knight, and like you have like different groups that you have like different levels of trust with, and then like some guy just moved next door to you and you started like working with him and sharing some stuff with him. Right now it's a bit like all or nothing, like you have to like share everything with the clan or nothing with the clan. So we're adding a bit more granularity to it, but we want to take that a lot further. We have a pretty detailed kind of design spec for where we want to take that. But that's a very important it's actually it's one of the more important things that we need to kind of make better for like all of this kind of social emergence happening, where people are kind of developing trust in relationship with other people, so
Yeah,
they can
absolutely. Chat were loving that answer, Rainer, and I got my YouTube cover there. Wall them in, says the dev. Honestly, it's the best thing to just see you guys like just humans, you know. There's so many times and so many games we play where you don't get to have this conversation. It's just bloody brilliant, man. People, it's so lovely to see it. Now I know we're kind of approaching on the hour, and I can see so many wicked questions. The last one, if that's all right, is a little bit about the content. I see 2 or 3 questions here about content. What's the kind of? I know we've got discussions around markets and nights, and it's definitely player-driven content for the grand scheme of things. But we definitely saw some hints of monsters or something, myths within some of your trailers. I saw one for sure. There's one ringing a bell in the distance through the woods. Is there anything you can share in terms of what your vision is? Not necessarily what specific you're doing, but the vision for filling these lands full of the content, you know, and what's the plan for bringing the lands to life with some content?
The vision is, I mean, the idea of Pax Dei is that, you know, if you live in the 13th century, I mean, you're living in a different reality. I mean, monsters are real. That's kind of the thinking. So it is a fantasy world by definition. You know, you live in a world which is highly unusual. Ghosts exist and magic is everywhere. And that is kind of the reality we're kind of reflecting. So it is a fantasy game, but it's kind of rooted in reality. And our vision for it is, you know, we want to fill basically it's the idea of the Odyssey. The Odyssey is, you know, the further away from home you go, you know, the stranger things become. And that's kind of what we want to reflect. And we also want to use, you know, when night falls, you know, the evil comes out to play and stuff like this. Deeper the dungeons, you know, what we're working on is it's not, you know, it's not really a super high fantasy where everything is like, you know, in your face, and you know, the towns are filled with like, you know, something with pink particle systems. This is more, you know, hitting the darkness and under the layers of discovery. So that is basically what we're working on now, is that and tying it into the lore of the world and the mysteries of the world itself. So, and you will, you know, unravel what's happening and why the stuff is there. There is a grand story behind all of this, and this is for the players to discover, because it also aids them in the, you know, in the goal of, you know, playing the game. Learning about the lore also helps you in playing the game.
Yeah, it keeps you hooked. Absolutely does. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we're very excited about this. We currently have it's very shallow on this, and we're mostly doing humanoids. But you're going to see something coming along the way, and of course, you know, before launch, we're going to see stuff dropping. I'm not promising that, but stuff is going to happen.
No, amazing. No, I know from watching you guys, it looks like it's bright, sunny outside, but I know where you are in the world. Like, I think at this point the sun doesn't set, so I know it's quite late for both for all of us. Is there anything you want to say for the guys that are guys and girls that are buying into your game, into early access for the next, you know, for tomorrow essentially? Is there any last words?
Yeah, I would love to say just, you know, thank you for believing in us, and I hope, you know, we will do our best to earn your trust. I mean, this is the game that we've been trying to make or want to make for, you know, for almost all our lives, and I hope you know, it's very encouraging for us to see you sharing the stream, and you know, it's just, you know, yeah, it's amazing. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Sam. Exactly. Like, just thank you so much for believing in this game and like joining on this journey. Like, it's gonna be wild tomorrow. I can't wait.
Oh, we're ready. People are really ready. No, guys, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you both very much, and everyone in chat now. If there's anything you want to say, the guys have been looking over to chat, and the last things from me really. if the visual's been bad, forgive me. The wind is blowing away my internet in the van, and again with the ads, I'm so sorry. I'm going to look into it and see if I can just turn it off. But it's an automated thing. It just happens like 3-4 minutes an hour or something. So thank you both very, very much. We'll post this on YouTube as well. But yeah, have an awesome day tomorrow. I know this is like a long time coming, so enjoy tomorrow and enjoy the next few months. And I'll try and hassle you maybe in a couple months' time and see how things are going. If you're you're both still alive and kicking after the early access. No, thank you again very much.
Thank you, Danneh.
Thank you,
guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Amazing, mate. Guys, thank you so much, guys in chat. Yeah. Oh, how cool was that? I hope we kind of touched on the questions that hopefully a lot of you guys will want to see. Sorry about the ads. I've got it on my notes to look into, but it's just something that's automated, and I see some people saying to them, "Oh, fuck, I don't know how, man." But hopefully the questions were good. We'll post. Hello, Jack. Hello. Jack's home. Walled him in. Yeah, we'll post this on YouTube. I'll get this live now, so you guys can take a look ahead of tomorrow. I know we've still got 12 or so hours, maybe a bit longer, ready for tomorrow. But a little bit of housekeeping bits that I know. Tomorrow, you should get your keys. I'll have a look, Ninja. You should get your keys as it launches. I don't think there's any preload or anything like that, as far as I'm aware, at least on Steam. The timings on their Discord. I'm in the UK. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. Oh man, yeah. YouTube won't have any ads. I might stick some in just for you. Gotta make. I'm in a van. I gotta make that diesel money. It's fucking expensive these days. But no, thank you all very much. It's an absolute pleasure to have them on here, and yeah, basically a lot of you guys saying some nice comments last time about how we asked some questions and whatnot, kind of potentially led to this. So appreciate you all very much. Little Baggins, I love you, man. A little bit of a self plug before we disappear. Tomorrow, we're basically on the move in the morning, so I won't be doing the typical morning stream, but we'll be around. Probably borderline as the game's going live. So if you want to come have a look tomorrow, we will be live. Loads of the Pirate Gaming guys are playing. If you want to join us and you're in the EU, !Discord, go on the Discord. There is kind of a long process, so don't expect too much right now. And fame. And for everyone who's semi-interested, this is kind of become a big part of my life, is streaming and gaming on the road. So if you've got a few minutes, this stream is sponsored by Danneh in a van. Go and check my links. Yeah, but Pax Dei, I'm very, very, very excited for the future of it. Obviously, so one last thing, something we've been discussing quite a lot is early access, costs, timings, all this sort of stuff. So my personal take on this is, if you look at how a lot of early access games right now, you are buying essentially a game that normally when people buy an early access game, they buy a game that feels and they expect it to be somewhat complete. A lot of what and how this came about really was that you buy into it like it's essentially like a crowdfunding thing, right? So you buy into an early access game to test the game, to support the devs. You know it's in early access. It's not fucking released. So you're buying into that. The feeling about early access has completely changed over the last few years. When I buy an early access game now, I expect it to be kind of ready. Pax Dei is at a point where it's kind of ready, but there's parts of it that don't feel ready at all. And a lot of people have kind of shared their opinions on that. And I think you just have to keep in the back of your mind that they are in early access. And I look at it very similar to Ashes of Creation, but the way that Ashes have done it, not being on early access through Steam, for example, is just marketed and said differently. So I've bought into Ashes of Creation, the game that will never launch, because I want to play it as soon as I can, because I want to test it, but also because I like the way that they talk about the game, the way that they're so transparent. And I said to these guys today, grabbing some questions from you guys. There's a good chance these questions are going to be completely degenerate, right? But I try and pick some, and just having them here is very transparent. You get to see their vision, you get to hear their vision, and you are buying into that vision, not buying a game that's ready. So, yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is not, yeah, maybe it's been taken advantage of, but the feeling about it is very different. So if you're going to buy tomorrow, just keep that in mind. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a salesman for these guys, but just keep it in mind tomorrow. If you're not 100% sure, go onto YouTube, go onto Twitch, watch some streams, and then and then make your own decision. But yeah, download the game and come and stream snipe me. Boys, thank you very much. It's been I'd love a Pax Day t-shirt. It's been very fun and lovely to see so many new faces. Hopefully I'll see some of you again throughout the look at the Discord, the meme's already there. Oh my god, I will get up there. Hopefully see some of you guys throughout the next few weeks of PAX. Pop back in. Thank you all very, very much. Yeah, it's been very fun, and yeah, catch up with you tomorrow. Love you, bye.